Hello everyone, and welcome to the third and final air poll for the White Claw pack. This was the pack that is led by Frodo and Pixis, and the third and final litter that will be voting on a potential heir and heir finalist from this litter. And then, of course, once we finished voting for all three litters, the finalists from each litter will run against each other in one big poll to determine the winner who will become the heir of the pack as a whole and who will be following after Puma's story concludes. But we're going to go ahead and we'll jump right in. First off, we have Lila. So Lila has the gray coat. It's unknown member of the Black-tailed Deer Plateau pack. And I think this is a coat we've seen quite frequently. This is, I think, the same coat as Peregrine. I think also the same coat as Kaya, except she had the Life is Rough variant of it. Kaya was from one of our main YouTube packs. And of course, Peregrine was our other main founding member of the packs here on the Twitch channel. So Lila has kind of these darker colored eyes once again. That seems to be kind of prevalent in this pack, the darker chocolatey kind of amber colored eyes. And let's go ahead and listen to her howls as well. A little bit of a higher pitched one, and then for her secondary, an even higher pitched one there. She's got quite a high pitched howl overall, it sounds like. Now, we don't usually see customizations for the ear and the body that generate randomly, except for occasionally a radio collar. But if you want to have the chance to participate and contribute some ideas, you can check out our Patreon. There'll be a link in the video description to that. And for any members, you can go ahead and take a look at the post that contains this video if you want to suggest an idea for one of these wolves for customization they might have, and maybe a little bit of a story behind it. I'll be picking some of those and adding those to our wolves. So if you want the chance to participate in the story bit, that's a fun way that you guys have the chance to be able to do that. Now, as for her stats, she's got fairly neutral stats. She's got slightly higher health and slightly lower stamina, but overall pretty neutral. Strength and speed are 0, so not a huge amount of modified stats leaning one way or the other. She's got pretty neutral stats. And of course, she is the 6F member of the White Claw pack from the third litter, the offspring of Frodo and Pixis. So that has been Lila, and next up we have our second member of the third litter, Hurricane. And Hurricane has the original black coat, or the new version of it rather, which is a really pretty coat, but it is still a genetic gray coat despite being called the black coat. It is still a genetic gray, and it can be this light brownish color as you see here. Now, Hurricane actually has some pretty dark eyes here. They actually blend quite nicely with the coat. It's almost exactly the same shade. Once again, that kind of darker brown. And as for her howls, let's go ahead and we'll take a listen here. Once again, a bit of a higher pitched howl, and then for her secondary. Oh, that's a much deeper one, so Hurricane has a bit of range here. And then, of course, she has no ear or body customizations. She didn't roll the radio collar, but once again, if you're a member of the Patreon, you have the chance to contribute ideas for that. That might be used for a character, so if you have any ideas and you're a member of the Patreon, feel free to drop them on that post. But as for her other traits, here are her stats. She has a little bit boosted strength and slightly lowered speed, but otherwise, once again, her stats are neutral. A lot of neutral stat pups in this litter, actually. She is the 7F member of the White Claw pack, the second pup in the third litter, and of course, the offspring of Frodo and Pixis. And last but not least, we have our final member of the third litter, and that would be Aspen. So Aspen is the 8F member of the pack. She actually has a little bit of a scar on her nose, too. It looks like she got the Life is Rough version of one of the original coats, I believe it is. Once again, a genetic gray color coat. Is that the same coat as Pixis, actually? Minus the scar, I think. That could be. I can't remember for sure. But once again, she kind of has these darker colored eyes. They're not quite as orangey as some of her siblings, but they're still quite pretty, especially against that really light colored coat. They're kind of striking. And then for her howls, a bit of a deeper howl starting off there. And then for her secondary, actually quite a similar howl, also quite deep as well. So very, very similar in sound. She definitely has a distinct sound to herself here. Once again, these traits, she didn't get a radio collar, and these traits will be determined by members of Patreon who want to contribute ideas for a chance to have them used for our actual wolves here in their actual stories, perhaps. But as for her stats, Aspen actually was the runt of her litter, so she has slightly lowered stats. She has, well, actually significantly lowered. It's a little bit more than slightly. Her stamina and speed are both -2, and her strength is a +1. So she does have a little bit of a bonus there, but her stamina and speed are not not quite so high. So she would be a little bit of a more challenging wolf to play as in that respect. She is, of course, the 8th member of the White Claw Pack, the offspring of Frodo and Pixis, and the final pup that they had. They had some kind of small litters due to, I think they were 2-star diversity as opposed to usually we end up with 3 or 4, so they had a little bit of a smaller litter size there. But that has been the wolves of the final litter from the White Claw Pack. Once again, the winners of each litter will then run against each other in a final poll to determine the heir of the pack as a whole. But for now, we are going to go ahead and end this off here for today. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. But until then, this is Jay, over and out.